show, fans. Welcome back to another episode of Accessible Athletics. I have a special guest joining me today. His name is Jack Williams. He is representative of Motionball Marathon of Sport, Calgary region. Welcome, Jack, and thank you for coming on to my show today.
Thanks, Damien. It's good to see you.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
For sure. So I work in the technology and innovation sector here in Calgary, but I think more relevant to our conversation, I've been a volunteer with Motionball for several years, as well as coaching a Special Olympics hockey team as well.
Oh, wow. So it sounds like you've been pretty involved.
Absolutely. And I will give a quick shout out to the Calgary Thunderbirds. I know, Damien, you're one of our
Yes,
players,
sir.
so quick shout out.
Thunderbirds, 5 straight wins. So let's keep that streak going.
We got the trophy last year, so we got lots to celebrate.
Yeah. So as I understand it, from being a participant myself, teams of 10 are created for a full day of fun and inclusive sports while raising funds and awareness in support of the Special Olympics Canada Foundation. Can you tell us how it works in more detail?
Absolutely. I mean, you nailed it with that description, so to top that's going to be tough. Motionball is actually a national movement. So it's a not-for-profit organization that empowers young Canadians to raise money for the Special Olympics movement. So here in Calgary, we have two big events. So one is the gala, which we had in April, which I remember seeing you at, Damien.
Yeah.
And then we have our big Marathon of Sport that's coming up on Saturday, June 22nd at Mount Royal. So, I mean, truthfully, Marathon of Sport is probably one of my favorite days of the year. I like to think of it as kind of like an adult sports day. It's where a bunch of teams get together. You know, it can be friends, work colleagues, typically made up of 10 people. And you usually have 1 to 2 Special Olympic athletes on each team. And then you just spend the day having a blast, playing sports, and raise money for a very special cause.
Well, that sounds like it's so much fun, and it's good that it's for a good cause, you know, raising money for stuff like that. So how did you get involved specifically with Motionball Calgary?
You're testing my memory here. So I was actually back in 2016, I was an account manager with the Calgary Flames. And one of my coworkers, Annalise, who you might have met over the years, she was the event director for Motionball. So she was a part of the organizing committee. And she asked, you know, we're looking for volunteers, anyone willing to help out. To be quite honest, I didn't know a ton about Motionball. I knew what Special Olympics was, and I signed up to be a day of volunteer. And I mean, the rest is history. I think after that first event, I immediately signed up actually at the event under the Special Olympics tent to be a floor hockey coach. So that's how I got started. And then ever since, I've been involved in either a volunteer capacity or as a participant.
Wow, sounds like you've had quite the involvement, and it sounds like you've had an enjoyable time too along the way.
Absolutely. And as I said, it truly is one of my favorite days of the year. And it's one of those events I think you come to once and there's no chance you're not going to make it back if you can. So yeah, I can't wait. We're 5 days away, and I'm ready to compete. And I hope, Damien, you're on my team.
I hope so too. Yeah, it should be a fun day for sure. Watching all these athletes compete and just going out and having fun and meeting new people. So
absolutely.
So what is your role now with Motionball?
So my role now, so I originally, like I said, started off as more of a day of volunteer. But over the past 3 years, I've joined both the gala committee as well as the Marathon of Sport. So for the Marathon of Sport that's coming up this weekend, I'm the sports and logistics director. So essentially it's a really complicated way of saying I just oversee the sports for the event. But one of my things that's non-negotiable is I always put a team in as well. So even though I am part of the committee, I always participate just because I really don't want to miss out on the fun.
Yeah, that's always fun too when you can participate too yourself as a committee too, and someone who puts on the teams and stuff too.
Absolutely.
So what kind of games and activities are included in the Motionball event?
That's a good question. I mean, every year we do change it up a little bit. So if you've ever attended, it's always slightly different. But we do have our staple sports. So we'll have, the typical like basketball, soccer, bench ball, capture the flag football. But we do try and introduce a few new sports each year. So this year we have street hockey as one of the new ones, which was actually one of the recommendations of you, Damien, as well as giant pickleball, which is something that I believe has never been tested outside of Motionball Calgary. So we're going to give that a whirl and see how it goes. But what we try and do is mix in some slower paced sports as well as fast ones, because you're obviously competing all day. So playing 12 sports takes the energy out of you. So you need that balance of activities.
And that sounds fun. Giant pickleball sounds pretty interesting. It's kind of similar to the kinball that they had last year in Motionball kind of thing.
Absolutely. And kinball, we unfortunately did retire for this year. It might make a return, but I think that the problem with kinball is when the wind picks up, things can get a little bit dangerous. Yeah. I remember a couple years ago, we had a ball probably fly, 10, 15 feet in the air. And we were just hoping it came down. So,
yeah, that would suck. But, you got to change it up once in a while, or it's at different sports, because that's what makes it exciting.
Exactly.
So for those listening out there, what can they do to get involved with Motionball, which is such an important fundraiser for Special Olympics?
Another good question. I mean, we're always looking for people to join our volunteer network. We're always looking for people that are interested in working with us on a sponsorship level. But a few different ways you can get involved. I think most importantly, you can volunteer as a participant. You can enter a team as an individual. We can put you on another team. Or you can just participate as a volunteer for the day of, which is how I got started. We also are always looking for people to join our organizing committee. Again, it's probably a team of 8 or 9 of us right now, but trust me, there's plenty of work to do when you have 400 people coming to an event. You can also just make a donation to either one of the individuals participating, one of the teams, or to the event itself as well. And if you do want more information, all the available details should be on our website. So that's motionball.com/Calgary. Or you can reach out to our committee at yycteams@motionball.com.
Well, that's cool. It seems like there's a lot of ways to get involved. So if you wanted to get involved, and you're not involved in the Special Olympics, you're not a coach, you're not an athlete, but you have some people who want to play, can they come too, or is it just like people that are from different companies?
No, so I mean, I've personally put in a team of friends for the past probably 4 or 5 years. So it can be a group of friends. You can do it with a group of colleagues at your company. Again, if you want to just join as an individual, we can put you on a team as well. So there's plenty of ways of getting involved, and we usually have a pretty good mix of teams of friends, but also teams of colleagues that like to get pretty competitive.
Oh, that's cool that anybody can join. And you don't have to have experience with sports. Like if you've never played sports before too, is that fine? You can still play?
It's a totally inclusive environment. There's not any certain level of activeness required, I guess, to play any sport. So come and have fun. I mean, we're happy if you want to sit on the sidelines and cheer your team on. We do offer cheer points as well. That's also part of winning the Marathon of Sport. So no, anyone's welcome, and you can participate on any level you wish to.
Well, that sounds awesome. That sounds like there's a pretty big involvement, and it's pretty big for Motionball, which is good because it is a good event, and it does help raise funds to keep our sports running. So that's good.
Absolutely.
So Jack, you and I have known each other farther than our relationship with Motionball. You're one of my assistant coaches for Special Olympics floor hockey. Myself and my teammates are very lucky to have you as one of our hockey coaches. Why did you choose to volunteer with Special Olympics Calgary program?
Yeah, so I mean, it did all start with Motionball. Like I said, I was a day of volunteer in 2016. And to be honest, I showed up. I think this was the year we actually got rained out. A lot of our events typically take part outside on the soccer fields. but it was there was so much rain that we had to move everything indoors. So we had to recreate a bunch of games that it was more so table games than sports. But to be honest, I got to interact with some of the athletes and the teams, and I was just inspired at that point. And I mean, the time I spend coaching you, Damien, and the team with the Thunderbirds and previously the Hitmen, I mean, you guys inspire me every day. I mean, you come to practice, you come to games with such a positive attitude, tons of energy, and also just as importantly, a high compete level. It's high level hockey you guys play. So and I mean, the perseverance that you all show just reminds me of the power of sport and why sports should really be for everyone, and not just professional athletes. So I mean, there's tons of reasons, but I think it's really the athletes that bring me back.
And that's good, because that's a good thing about Special Olympics. It has sports like for people that, if it's inclusive, they don't turn anybody down. Whether you're good at sports, you're not good at sports. There's different levels, like there's intermediate, advanced, beginner. So you can still play, you can still have fun, so you don't feel bad like, oh, I have a disability, I can't play. They'll take anybody regardless. So that's a great thing about Special Olympics.
100%. And I mean, I'm saying all of this, but you'd think me being an assistant coach to you, Damien, and the rest of the athletes that I should be a better hockey player. You're 10 times better than I am. So I should probably mention that I'm just there to somewhat offer some kind of guidance, but you're the athlete here.
Oh, I've seen that shot in the warm-up, and that looks pretty good. So. I remember that in Motionball, we had that big storm, like lots of rain in June, and we had to go inside. I think it was one of my first years in Motionball. We did a couple of indoor sports.
We tried our best. It's always tricky when more than half of our sports are out on the fields, and it becomes a bit of a safety issue if there's too much rain. So we did the best we could, and right now we just have our fingers crossed for some sunny weather on Saturday.
Saturday looks really, really good, so
Perfect.
Hopefully it'll be good.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. How long have you been coaching for Special Olympics now?
So I believe I started in 2017. So I guess that brings me to seven years. This will be. So I've coached both floor hockey, and then I've done a couple of years of golf as well. But no, it's a great organization, and it's one of those things. If you have the time, you have the capacity, you have the ability to offer some knowledge, it's a no-brainer. Please sign up, and we're always looking for coaches, always looking for support. So please, if there's anything you can offer, please come and join. It'll be one of the best decisions you ever make.
And I guarantee you, once you join, it's going to be very hard to permanently leave. Because you'll be surprised how quick you get attached to those athletes and how quick they get attached to you as coaches. So it's if you do want to join, you are going to be attached to them. That's how it is.
Absolutely. I mean, unless that you're a goaltender and you're in the net when Damien's shooting a puck, then you may not want to participate. But no, you're completely right, Damien.
So it sounds like you had a lot of involvement with Special Olympics, which is good.
Absolutely.
So as you know, my show is about helping Special Olympic athletes to live a healthy lifestyle. As a representative for Motionball and a Special Olympics coach, I'm sure you have some helpful advice on this topic. How can athletes stay healthy outside of events like Motionball?
Well, I think there's a couple things. I'd say the first one, and this is speaking on our last point, I think if you can get involved in any of the Special Olympics sports programs, it's such a supportive, exciting environment to play in. There's a really good selection of sports offered as well. So I guarantee you'll find one sport that you enjoy. I mean, the second thing I'd say, and this is more of just general health advice, is I think find a way to move your body every day. You don't have to go out there and be a hero and run an Ironman. Just find 20 or 30 minutes every day to get your heart rate up and stay moving. Because I think a lot of people think you have to be perfect, and really all you need to do is put a little bit of effort in.
And especially with such high-end sports, like hockey and golf, because we do go to provincials and we do go to nationals, and so you have to be in shape. And if you're not in shape as an athlete, it's gonna affect you in your sports, and then just in your life too as well.
Exactly. It'll benefit you in every way. I think being healthier impacts every area of your life, and only for the better. So
Yeah. And then you feel better too as an individual, knowing that, oh, I feel better, my health is better, and you're just going to be happier as an individual.
exactly.
So, what do you do when athletes are struggling to work on their health?
I mean, I think you have to find out why is the first question. But the one thing I definitely say is it's really important with anything active or sports or whatever it is. You have to find something that you actually get enjoyment out of doing. No, I mean, not every sport or physical activity is for everyone. So it's really about finding something that it may be hard, it may be challenging, but you actually enjoy coming back to. I think it's much easier to make something part of your routine if you enjoy it. So that's the first point I make. I think the second is you have to find the right people or community to do it with, and I think that's why Special Olympics is such a great organization. I think everything's better in a team, and when you have someone or a group of people that can hold each other accountable and push each other, I think it makes it much easier to prioritize your health and you get better together, which is the beauty.
Yeah. And if there are some athletes that like are just not motivated, or they just don't really want to do anything to be healthy, what would you recommend? Like, how do you really like try to help them get that down to make them understand that it's important for them to be healthy?
Well, I think not like every approach is not going to work for everyone. So I think really learning, what motivates that athlete and what doesn't. So you really have to kind of ask them the right questions, I'd say. But in the end, I think a big part of it comes down to, can you create an exciting, enjoyable environment where people like coming to? And that's where I think Special Olympics gets it right. Is I think people genuinely like coming to practice. They love playing in the games. They love when the crowd cheers them on. So it's really about creating that environment that people are excited to be active and excited to make themselves healthier. Whereas, like I said about the Ironman thing, I don't know how many people get too motivated when they got to go and run, for 2 hours in the morning and then go for a swim and then a bike ride. So I think it's about finding that thing that fits for you.
And the balance too.
Exactly.
And that's the good thing with Special Olympics is like during the Winter Games or Provincial Games, Special Olympics has had this for a while. It's called Healthy Athletes.
Yeah.
So you go and you just, you get checked out. They ask you some health questions, some health advice, and maybe they give you some tips. So I find, as me being an athlete myself, I find that with that Healthy Athletes, that seems to really help motivate other athletes to want to make more healthier choices.
Exactly. And that's a big part of being a team, right? And Damien, you being one of the leaders on our team, like I think we see that in all the practices and games we play is if you lead by example, people will follow. So I think that's the most important part, is being around people that can lead and show the right way to do it.
Yeah, that does help a lot. So what changes have you seen from athletes when they implement healthy choices?
I think we touched on this earlier. I think the most important part, or maybe the most obvious thing that comes out of making healthier choices, is it makes everything else easier. I think you have more energy when you make healthy choices. You'll feel stronger, you'll feel faster, you'll feel more prepared for anything that comes your way. So there's really no downside to it. And then I think on top of all of this, and maybe the most important one, is you'll feel mentally sharper as well. And I think that's a big thing that people are realizing is not only is physical activity good for you physically, it's really good for you mentally as well.
Yeah, and it's not just about being active, especially Olympics athletes. It's about like making healthy choices when you're eating, when you're drinking. I see a lot of athletes after a big or before a big game that we play, they go to the vending machine, they'll eat chips or they'll have Coke and stuff. So I think if there's a way that they can implement that to maybe like not have it before a game, but maybe like if you had a really good game, maybe you can treat yourself to that once in a while because you've had a good game as like an reward kind of thing.
Well, I think that's a great point. I think in a way you have to reframe what you think of food as. It's not necessarily something. It's more of a fuel than anything, especially if you're an athlete. You should think of what you're eating and putting in your body is going to energize you to either perform or not perform. And if you're putting junk in your body, don't get me wrong. I think, like, personally, I follow like an 80-20 rule where 80% of the time I eat quite healthy. And then for 20% of the time, I'll treat myself on a weekend to, a meal out or something. But I think, you got to think, especially on nights where you're competing, you want to fuel yourself with good things, because then good things will come out of it.
And then you also perform better too in your sports. You'll be faster, and you won't be like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that, because then you don't feel good and you're not gonna be able to perform.
Well, I'm not sure you can get faster, Damien, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're already. I think you're already one of the fastest people in Special O. So, but if you can get faster, eat what Damien's eating.
Yeah. Do you have any recommendations for athletes to be more active?
Yeah, I do. I think first I would say don't overcomplicate things. I think people oftentimes wait for a perfect time or some kind of circumstance for themselves to get healthy or get active. One of my favorite quotes is, "There is no right time. There is just time and what you choose to do with it." So I think that is kind of my mentality is, you don't have to wait for that perfect time. You don't have to do something perfectly. You don't have to wait, you don't have to be the best right from the start. Just work hard, practice, and I think the results will come. I think a lot of people get discouraged when they're not the best at something when they start, but that comes with time. And then there's another saying I'll maybe share is, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So you're not going to get better at something if you're sitting on the couch and playing around on social media. You're not going to get better watching TV shows. You really have to just start. And I think that's kind of the best piece of advice I've ever been given is just start. Just what is the smallest thing you can do to start? And then from there, I think good things will come. And then I think the last thing, like I said earlier, is just find those activities that you actually like doing and do it with the people you like doing it with. Because I think if you can create an enjoyable environment, you'll enjoy it rather than, push yourself and struggle through it and never want to do it again.
Yeah, because then that's not fun. You do something like, oh, you never want to do it again, and it's just not fun for anybody when they have to do that.
Exactly. And I think, I think that's one of the fun things about Marathon of Sport is there's going to be sports in there that maybe aren't your favorite, but you get to try them all out. So we have 12 different sports you can try, and I guarantee you're going to find one or two that you probably want to come back and do, including some surprise ones we've got this year off of Damien's recommendations. So stay tuned.
For motion ball, do you change sports every year? Like, do you try to add new sports every year and change them up, or you just try to keep the same sports but then try to add more?
So we do have limitations just because it depends on the number of teams that we have each year for how many sports we can do. So we do change it up from that sense. We also do try and introduce one or two new ones each year and switch out the ones that we haven't had the best feedback on. So it always changes a little bit, but there's always your staples. Like I think bench ball is one that's kind of a motion ball favorite. And obviously your soccers and your capture the flags. I think those are the ones that you see a lot of. The compete level is super high, and those are the ones you train your energy on.
Yeah, so I mean that's good, and there's also like basketball too, which I know is also pretty high for competition, and it's pretty competitive too.
Absolutely.
And also the hockey too, it's pretty competitive.
Hockey as well. I mean, we do also do like bocce, and believe this year we're gonna do. I think giant pickleball will be like a little bit slower paced. We hope, and we hope it's gonna be. We're gonna make it as safe as possible. So basically, we're gonna have 4 players aside, and you'll kind of own your zone on each side of the net. And it'll just be a giant pickleball game. So we're eager to see how it plays out, but we have high hopes.
How are you gonna find rackets the size of like a giant ball? That's what I'm wondering. How are you gonna find some racket that's that size?
So the rackets are normal size. I will say that, but we actually got them from a place called YYC Pickleball, which is I believe they've been around a few years, but they're they're getting a lot of attention because I know pickleball is becoming a lot more popular in the city and it seems like around the world. So, I mean, shout out to them for helping us out. But yeah, we're excited to see how it plays out. I believe it's a first of its kind. So, Motionball Calgary is trying something new.
Oh, nice. And just about pickleball, me and my dad have actually, like, in the winter, we joined the pickleball league and we just play pickleball, for fun. We just go and we write a name on the board and then we just have people play with us and we play. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's something new that we've joined, the pickleball, because I'm new to pickleball.
Yeah.
So I've never played with anything like that, and it's fun though to play like that in the winter, just to have a group of people that you can play with.
Yeah, well, I think it's one of those really cool sports that it's very inclusive too. It's not so fast paced that you risk, if you're older, you could risk an injury. So it's one of those sports that generations can play together, a little bit like golf in a sense. Whereas you look at another racket sport like tennis, it's really hard to play, a really good player playing someone who's a beginner. It's a little bit tougher, but pickleball, I find it's a good equalizer and you can kind of play with, friends and family of all different ages.
And it's nice too because, we're beginner. They understand that I'm a beginner, so you write your name down on a blue marker. They know you tell them, oh, I'm new. They're like, oh, that's okay. You got to start somewhere, and they're really good at giving tips. So I think it's really good pickleball, pretty good environment, and definitely a fastest growing sport for sure.
Absolutely, it's I think everyone and their dog is playing pickleball now, so yeah, it's a good thing.
Well, your involvement in motion ball and Special Olympics is truly inspiring and very much appreciated. I hope you have a great turnout at the upcoming motion ball event in Calgary. Just to clarify, this event will be an all-day event on Saturday, June 22nd at Mount Royal University. Is that correct?
That's correct. So we have about, I believe, between 350 to 400 people coming. Yeah, we got a super exciting weekend ahead, and I can't wait to see how the weekend plays out. And as I said before, if you do want to get involved, please do reach out. We'd love to have more involvement from the community.
Yeah, the more involvement, the better too with that.
Exactly.
And is motion ball every year in June, or is it like different days?
So typically it's in June. So we always try and do the Marathon of Sport in June, at least in Calgary. And then the gala is typically in April. And the gala, it's essentially, we'll have a theme each year. We've done, fancy stampede. We've done, I believe this year was a bit more focused on like poker style kind of dress wear. But then the Marathon of Sport is pretty much always in June, pending we can get the venue locked down.
Nice, because I remember one year I thought it was 1 year in September too, 1 year.
There's been a few years we've had to due to venue restrictions. Obviously, when COVID was around, it was a bit more restrictive. But I think we want to typically do it in the summer, just because it means at Mount Royal, obviously students won't be around, just because you don't want it to be too filled with students, because it makes it much harder logistically to kind of set things up and have our own space.
Yeah, because then the students be taking over. Yeah.
Or participating. It's not a terrible thing, but I think it's nice to be able to have a little bit of space so that our participants can kind of move around freely.
Yeah. Well, Jack, I wish you the best of luck with the event. This has been a great conversation, and I have really enjoyed speaking with you. Thank you again for coming on my show and taking the time to want to come on here today.
No, thank you, Damien. I love your podcast, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I guess my one last wish is that I don't go head-to-head with your team on Saturday, because you're an absolute beast.
Well, I hope to see you there, and I hope to be on your team. So,
of course, I look forward to it. And yeah, thanks again for the opportunity.
Well, there you have it, special fans. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Accessible Athletics. I'm your host, Damien Chiodo, reminding you to continue making a healthy lifestyle your priority, and stay tuned for the next episode of Accessible Athletics.